Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, in the matchless name of the Lord Jesus Christ. I am Adebusui Olutayo Olumadewa from Waohlife, my Jesus Christ story, and I'm so glad to let life for all over the world, and I'm so happy because this is the day that the Lord has made, and we are rejoicing and we are glad in it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an opportunity to be alive this season. Why? Because God in his infinite mercies is doing good things, and it's important for every man and woman, every male and female, to actually connect to the move of God now in order for them to be part of the blessings that is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy, I'm so inspired, and I'm so encouraged about this season. Why? Because I believe the time for the kingdom, the time for the advancement of the kingdom is now. And it's both me and you. It's you and me that are going to make this work. I'm so happy again to let you know that Olumide and we are going live with him now. I want you to sit down and join us. Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you are here again this wonderful afternoon in your place and this wonderful evening in Lagos, Nigeria. How are you doing? And how has it been over there, sir?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. Everything is going on fine. Praise God.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we again, before we start today's program, we've got to say thank you and honor to whom honor is due to. Again, we'll keep hammering it. The first personality on Wildlife TV. And since then, it has been from glory to greater glory. Thank you very much, sir. If I
Thank,
may
thank
ask you one
thank God.
beautiful question, why are you helping us?
So the reason why I'm helping you is because that is what I'm created to do. It's as simple as knowing your purpose as an individual. So my purpose, like one of the things I talk to you about, who am I? Talk to you about, number one, lover of God, lover of family. I love to listen. That's my second L. The third one is I love to learn. The fourth one is I like to link people together. You know, and the last one, the last L is I love to lead, and the last one is legacy. So love, listen, learn, link, link, and legacy. So that is the purpose where that's the reason why I existed as a person. So what I'm doing is I'm fulfilling part of my purpose where God created me. So that is the reason why. And if you look at the Bible, that's why the reason why God created us. God created us to multiply, to subdue, and to take over the earth. And part of the way we can multiply, we can subdue, we can multiply is whatever you have, you give it to other people. And that is why God created me. And so for me, one of my purpose is to, like when I talk about bridge mission, it's bridge and mission. So making sure I'm bridging the gap between people that have the resources and people that need the resources, linking people together. So that is me. So I'm just being me. Well, so I don't think I own that definition. Yeah, so I don't think I own that definition. I think I went for a program and I had somebody, whether Dr. Lan or somebody talking about it, and I just modify it into what I think that can fit into what I want to talk about. So one thing I say is that the relationship is a ship that will take you to your destination. And so today we're going to be talking about relationship with the environment. And it's very, very important that as a Christian, we need to understand why we need to have relationship with our environment. And if you look at what happened, the first mistake man made was because they did not understand the purpose why they were created. If you look at the history of the Bible from the book of Genesis, God made man in his own image. So the first relationship the man had was one with God, two with himself, three with his environment, then later on with his wife, with others. So, and the reason why people failed, the reason why Adam and Eve failed, is because God put them in Eden and told them this tree, because of, God gave them a direction. God gave them, this is what you need to do, do's and don'ts. And but man failed, in obeying that law, and that was the reason why men fell. Adam and Eve fell because they didn't understand their relationship with their environment. God told them you can eat anything, you can take anything in this place where you are, but this one, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge and tree of life, don't touch them. And man did. Man touched them because devil understood that once I can make them to go against the law of God, to violate the relationship with the environment, then I can take them out of where they are. And if you look at what is going on right now in our generation, COVID-19, everything that's going on, you see that it's a mismanaged, or people doesn't understand the relationship with the environment, and that's why we go into problem. If you look at people in power, the same thing. People in the office, people in position. The reason why there is corruption, the reason why there is killing, the reason why there is violence, the reason that all this, because people doesn't understand, their relationship with the environment. And from the Bible, the Bible is, relationship. God came to teach us, how to relate with others and how to relate with the environment. And if you look at the life of Jesus Christ, when he was on the face, when Jesus Christ came to this world, devil came to tempt him, and devil tempted him 3 times. Number one, with food. Number two, he asked him to submit to him, and he asked him to break the law. And it had to do with, God devil told Jesus that, okay, why you are hungry? Why can't you turn the stone to bread? That the relationship that you need to have with stone, not turning into bread. So devil wanted Jesus to violate, that law, to turn the stone to bread. The stone is supposed to be stone, not supposed to be bread. And that is what is going on. You see politicians, they are turning the stone to bread. What they're supposed to use, they're making it and turning it to bread. And if you look at what is going on in our world right now, you see that is the law people are breaking. They are turning stone to bread. What is supposed to be stone, they're turning into bread. That is number one. Number two, if you look at another thing that happened is that, devil took Jesus Christ to the top, of the mountain and showed him, everything. Said, all this stuff, I will give unto you if you can just, bow down. And God said, no, I can't do that. You think you are the one that's in charge of this world. You are not. I'm in charge. So devil want Jesus Christ to violate that relationship with his environment. To take what does not belong to him as if it is his own. And Jesus Christ said, no, I'm not going to do that. I can't worship you. I can only worship God. And the next thing I did, the third thing I did again is that devil told Jesus Christ to what? To jump down. because it's going to take his angels to charge over him. That is what we call the law of gravity. So devil won't just got to violate what? The law of gravity. Which you guys say, I'm not going to violate it. So if you see everything that happen in our environment, that happen nowadays, it's because people doesn't understand their relationship with the environment. And that is why we are in the chaos. Very, very important that everybody needs to know how to relate with your environment. And to start with, when we talk about your environment, what do we mean is your environment? Your environment can be, number one, where you are located. Your environment can be, number one, where you were born. The greatest thing that God did for us is where we were born. God did not make a mistake. Whether you were born in Nigeria, you were born in US, you were born in UK, you were born in Canada, that is the best place for you. Because God understand, God knew that is the best place for you. And so some people sometimes blame themselves that, why am I born? Somebody was telling me that, my mother had me, for 9 months, and just 2 days for her to give back to me, it came to Nigeria. Or I was born in US. My mother, they made me in US, and 2 days or 3 days for them to give back to me, they came to Nigeria. I would say, okay, they came from US to London. Why did they brought me to London? Why did they deliver me in Canada? Why did they deliver me in Ibadan, not Lagos? The issue is that the first decision that God made about you is where you were born and who you're going to come out from. And God doesn't make mistakes. So that means that your environment is very, very important to your destiny. It's very, very important to where you're going to be in life. So it's not a mistake at all. So that is why, as Christians, we need to understand. We need to have a good relationship with our environment. We need to take our environment on a date. And as I'm saying, what is your environment? Number one thing is your environment is that it may be your what? Your environment may be your what? Your place of work. Your environment may be your place of birth. Your environment may be where you are living in. Your environment may be your position that you are occupying. Your environment may be things around you. So you need to understand, why am I in this place? What am I doing in this place? What do I need to do? And as a person, anywhere you find yourself, you're supposed to make that place a better place. Anywhere you find yourself, the reason why there is problem in the family, husband and wife is fighting because they don't understand the environment. They don't have an issue with the environment. That is the best place. God put them in that place for them to grow and for them to be able to grow together and be nurtured together as husband and wife. God knew ahead of time that that's the best place for them to grow. So, in conclusion, first of all, you need to be able to define, what is my environment? Your environment is, number one, your place of birth, your position that you're occupying right now, your community, your church community, the city where you are, the country where you live in, your place of work, anywhere you find yourself is your environment. And what you need to do as a Christian is that you must be able to have a relationship with that environment, understand why you are in that environment. I'm going to start, using the book of Genesis to just give us a brief background. So something that God did was that Bible said in the book of Genesis chapter 1, verse 27 and 28, the Bible said God created man in his own image. And God breathed unto man, and man became a living soul. And the Bible said God started taking man to what? To multiply, to subdue, to dominate, and to fill the earth. And what God is asking them to multiply, to dominate, is not to dominate another person. It's to dominate everything that God created, the animal, the bird, not human being. And so when you don't understand that law, but you see, there is different things people are doing right now. People are dominating fellow human beings. But that is not what God created us to do. God created us to subdue, to dominate our environment where God has created, God has placed. And the first job that God gave us as human beings was, God said we should cultivate and till the land. So anywhere you find yourself, you need to understand, what is my job? I'm supposed to cultivate and I'm supposed to till the land. That is right. God placed us in that environment where we are. And let's look at what happened in the book of Genesis. God created Adam, and after God created Adam, God placed Adam in the Garden of Eden. And God gave Adam a guideline. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And he said, this tree, make sure you don't eat or you don't touch them. And that is one of the greatest laws people are violating right now. The tree that God is not asking them to touch, the tree that God is not asking them to eat. And that is what people are touching. That is what people are eating. Anytime people find themselves in the position or in power, whatever God asked them not to do, that is what they try to do. And there is a law that is causing them to do what they don't want to do. And that was the first mistake Adam made. Adam violated the law of relationship with his environment. God told him, don't touch this thing. And Adam and Eve, they touched it. And because of what they did, what God did, God sent them out of the garden. And thank God for God. God made another arrangement. God prepared ahead of time. That's why God sent Jesus Christ to come to this world and die for us. God knew that we're going to make a mistake. And when we made the mistake, God created a way out. God created a way out for us, so that He can reconcile back to our environment and help us to understand the reason why we need to take our environment on a date. Because if we don't do that, we're going to violate a lot of things. So that is number one with the environment. So any question you want to ask me before I proceed?
Wow. Yes. The questions I want to ask you. First of all, this is going to be a personal question. How do you think, sir? How do you think?
So how do I think is very easy. So the way I think is that I always allow Holy Spirit to guide my thoughts. You get what I'm saying? So when I'm thinking, I always see things from the perspective, number 1, of God. Number 2, from the perspective, when I think, there are 3 things I always put in mind when I'm thinking or when I'm doing anything. Number 1, I put justice, I put mercy, and I put love when I'm thinking. The first thing I put forth is love when I'm thinking. The second thing I put forth, the second thing I do is mercy. And the third thing is justice. So when you look at a case, naturally, when you look at what happened in the Garden of Eden, you see that a lot of people think that Adam and Eve, violated, they disobeyed God. It's true, that's what they did. But if you look deeply, what they did was that they violated the law of relationship with the environment. Because they touched what God asked them not to touch. God asked them, that's what they did. And if you look at what is going on right now, that is what is going on everywhere. Everywhere. If you look at people in power, if you look at people in politics, if you look at father, sometimes they abuse their position. If you look at mothers, they abuse their position. If you look at children too, they abuse them because they don't have understanding of their environment. And it's true that, as Christians, I think we need to do a school of understanding your environment, like what Dr. Mo was talking about yesterday. Was talking about the glow, the glow project that was done, and it was talking about different kind of power level. And Nigeria is a power distancing place, so you need to understand your environment. It's very, very important. When you go to any place as a Christian, even though you go to any place, make sure you study and understand the environment. And that's what Jesus Christ did. Pastor was talking yesterday. Dr. was talking yesterday that Jesus Christ came to the hood. He came to the neighborhood. In the book of John, by what? The word become flesh and dwell among us. So that means that Jesus Christ came to the hood and become part of our neighborhood. So as a Christian, anywhere you find yourself, if a whole creator had to leave his throne and came down to this earth to relate with us, to study us, and to understand us, and to bring himself so low, so down, to understand the way we think, to understand how we do what we do, to understand, that thing that makes us do what we don't want to do. That means that even me and myself and you, we need to be able to understand. We need to take time to take our environment on a date. First of all, you need to understand, why am I here? It's very, very important. Like I always talked about, you need to ask the question of why. And the reason why Adam failed, because Adam did not pass the question of why. That is it. He didn't pass the question of why. And even though let's say he passed the question of why, what am I supposed to do? He didn't pass the message across very well. One thing I've learned about life is that when you are in a position, and if anything bad happens in that position, as the leader, you need to own it. Because if anything bad happens under you, you are responsible for it. So for Eve to eat the fruit, that means that two things happen. Number one, Adam did not pass the message across to Eve very well. Or number two, Adam just let it slide and just gave Eve to do whatever he wants to do. And so Christ, God wasn't happy, because God hates when we violate the law of the environment. And look at what happened during the Tower of Babel. God said, these people, they're about to violate the law, their relationship with their environment. They said, we're going to build this tower and touch the heaven. And God said that nobody can stop these people. Because of what? Because they have made themselves, because they are what? They have made themselves, they have one purpose. They are one, they are united. So I can't even stop them. So the thing that God had to do is to come and scatter them, and disrupt the way they talk. And everybody started speaking different languages. And that was why. So that means that, every time human beings have a tendency to violate, the relationship with the environment whenever we find ourselves. But we must be able to understand that you are there for a purpose. Let me give another example of something like that happened. If you look at the life of Joseph, Joseph was sold as a slave, and he was put in Potiphar's house. And look at what happened. Look at that scenario. Look at that dynamic. Because Joseph understood how to relationship with his environment. When he got there, everything he did it as unto the Lord. Even though he was a slave, even though he was sold into slavery without his own consent, but when he got to Potiphar's house, the Bible says, because God was with him, God blessed him. The reason why God was Joseph was because Joseph understood the principle of having a relationship with your environment. And so when he got to that place, he gave it his all. He treated the environment very well. He treated his boss very well. He did everything, as if he's doing it as unto the Lord. And when temptation arose, when Potiphar's wife made an attempt, for Joseph to have sex with her, Joseph said, why should I do this thing and sin against God? Because Joseph understood the relationship with his environment. So anywhere you find yourself, know that God placed you there. You are not there by mistake. But a lot of time, when people find themselves anywhere, whether you're a father, or you're a mother, or you're a pastor, or you're a major, or you're a mayor, or you're a governor, or you're a commissioner or minister, you are placed there by God. And when you are placed there by God, you must understand that you are accountable unto God. Apart from the people that place you there, you are accountable unto God. And so when you see things from the eyes of God, it makes things easier for us. It's going to make this world a better place. And that was the mistake Adam made. Adam did not pass the message across very well to Eve that, okay, this is where we are. There is boundary. God is a God of love, but God set boundaries. All these things we can do, but this one, don't touch it. And because Eve touched it, Adam end up, touched it. And I end up eating, they both end up eating the fruit. And that was the reason why we are where we are today. Because of the mistake of somebody's that did not understand their relationship with the environment.
Wow, 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 wow. You never seems to amaze us at Waohlife. Why? Because when we talk, you ate something, you always come with another eat for us. I would not lie to you. This is my first time of listening to someone talking about environment in such a dimension, connecting it to the super world and the natural world, making it supernatural. With all due respect, I must tell you, you are a phenomenon.
Thank God, it's God. It's God.
Because I was just thinking about the three temptations of Jesus Christ. How you were able to relate it to the environment and the violation of environment, which is actually the real deal. In fact, you made a statement, you said the problem with the world is that people are trying to turn stone to bread, which is actually not the order of purpose. That for me is like I should just go and sleep and be thinking about such. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank God.
I don't finish this environment tonight because I actually document some questions. The first question I want to ask you is that you said devil tempted Jesus with food, turn this stone to bread. And you made a statement that the reason we have challenges today in our world is because people decided to turn the stone to bread, thereby making things that is not meant to be. Now, I actually want you to give us 3 examples of that, or 3 analogy around that in a physical world now, so that we can actually relate it more.
Okay, thank you. Let me start with that. So when we talk about stone and bread, what is bread? Bread may be food. Am I right? Bread may be hunger. Devil saw Jesus Christ was fasting, and it was that environment of just consecrating himself. Jesus Christ just had a mission. The Bible says Holy Spirit led him into the wilderness to pray for 40 days and 40 nights. So every time you are in a position or you find yourself in a position, the first question you need to ask yourself is that, what am I doing in this position? Holy Spirit led Jesus Christ to the wilderness. And every time you find yourself in a position, every time you are in a place of work, or you are the leader of a project, or you're a teacher, or you're a lecturer, or you're a student, you happen to be in an environment, and the first thing you're going to face is the temptation of hunger. What do I mean by hunger? The issue is that when we talk about Maslow hierarchy, Maslow law, when we talk about Maslow law, we talk the base one is just for everybody to be comfortable. That will make you comfortable, just normal basic human need. And the first basic human need that we know is food, to nurture ourselves. And a lot of time people get tempted, and food can be a lot of things. To some people, food can be sex. To some people, food can be money. To some people, food can be hunger. To some people, food can be power. To some people, food can be control. What is that thing, that makes your stomach turns? And devil understand that for each individual, what what is food to them is different. You get what I'm saying? Look at what happened to Joseph. In Joseph's time, the food to Joseph was Potiphar's wife. Look at David. The Bible says in the year that the king normally goes to battle, David sat down. And when David went up, he saw somebody washing from his own balcony. He saw a lady washing. And he was able to, she saw the lady. And before you know it, things started going on in his mind. And he asked them to call the lady. And they called the lady. She ended up sleeping with the lady. And he ended up sleeping with the lady. Then he ended up killing the lady's husband. And they end up having Solomon. So the issue is that when you talk about food, when you talk about hunger, what is that thing that when you see that makes your stomach turn? And for everybody, it's different. It's different. It may not be physical food. It may be power. It may be sex. It may be intellectual knowledge. It may be control. But you see that every stone that you find yourself in, it is not meant for you to turn into bread. And that is what we see what is going on. Let me give you a scenario. Let me give you one scenario. I remember something that happened to me, growing up as a little kid. The first thing that happened to me growing up as a little kid was, I remember, there was one day I was hungry. I wanted to eat. And I was looking for food. I couldn't get food. So I went to my friend and I told my friend a lie just to get money because I want to satisfy my hunger. That is number one. Another scenario was that, when I was in college or when I was in high school, I always want to be the first. So I will go to any extreme to be the first. So for me, being in control is like food. It's like toxic to me that, I need to be the one that get the highest score in the class. You get what I'm saying? And I can go at any length to make sure I fulfill that purpose. So what you need to understand is this. What is the thing that makes your stomach turns? What is that thing that make you, that make you hungry? As if I need to eat. And if you look at it, your flesh sometimes can be very, very funny. Anything that say me, myself, and her. Anything that say now, I must have it now. 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 What is that thing that when you see, you lose control? Devil thought that Jesus Christ is going to turn the stone to bread. So what I'm going to ask is that, what is stone? Like what I said earlier, to some people, stone can be food. Stone can be money. Stone can be power. Stone can be what? Can be success. Stone can be what? Can be enjoyment. And you can see it from the Bible. People that made mistake. Look at Saul. Saul made mistake. The prophet told Saul that when you get to the place, don't make a sacrifice. But Saul went and believed, I'm a prophet too. I'm going to make that sacrifice. And that was the end of his career. We see in the life of David how David messed up. We see in the lives of different people in the Bible, Absalom, different kings in the Bible, King Ahab, different king in the Bible, Solomon. You see some people, their own stone is just knowledge for power or craving for knowledge, and they can go to any length to have it. And let's bring it that to our own generation. What is food for us? Look at what is going on right now. Look at what is going on. People go to any length just because they want to eat, just because they want to be in power. They go to any length to violate the law. Look at what is going on in our country, both America and Africa or Nigeria. Look at what is going on. You see the way people are, the money that belongs to a whole country, somebody is just, embezzling it. You see that that person doesn't understand the relationship with his environment, understand the relationship with his position. You are there. The reason why God puts you there is for you to till and cultivate, not for you to embezzle and destroy where you are. So when you talk about stone, stone is anything, that make you violate the law of relationship with your environment.
Wow. Thank you so much. In fact, you really brought that to another dimension this wonderful evening. Stone is anything that makes you violate the law of the environment. Thank you so much. Now, the
Welcome.
second question I have for you is this. You talked about the authority that Satan wants Jesus Christ to violate the relationship of the relationship with that the relationship violation of relationship with environment. He wants Jesus Christ to submit. Can you just expatiate the one between stone and bread? Can you just expatiate the aspect of that authority too in terms of submission also?
So let me talk about that one. So if you look at every environment you find yourself, there is authority, there is law and order. Let's start from what happened in the Garden of Eden. God put Adam in the Garden of Eden, and God gave him control over everything. But God told him, this tree of life, this tree of knowledge, don't touch it. And what happened? Devil manipulated Eve, and Eve ended up eating the fruit, and Adam ended up eating the fruit. So, as human being, everybody, we have a void in our heart. And the only person that can fill that void is Jesus Christ. And so the issue is that when you don't understand your relationship with your environment or the position where you are, we have a tendency to violate that environment, knowing that. And the reason why devil want Jesus to violate that environment is just trying to test just want to test the knowledge of Jesus, whether he knows who is in charge, who is in control. And because Jesus knew very well, it was easy for him not to violate that relationship with his environment. Let's look at what happened. Devil took Jesus to the top of the hill and said, look at everything in this world. Look at everything. I own it. And if you can just bow down before me, I will give it to you. And Jesus Christ laughed and smiled because he knew that what the devil was talking about, devil, did not have the understanding of what he was talking about. So it was easy for God, Jesus Christ, to say, no, it's very, 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 what you're doing is you don't understand what you're talking about. The issue is that every time we find ourselves in any environment, these three tests is very, very important. Test for power, test for lordship. And you need to always ask yourself, anytime you find yourself in any environment, do you see yourself as the Lord of that environment? Or do you see yourself as the Lord under God in that environment? Because if you look at what God told Adam, he told Adam to cultivate and till the ground. And that's what God told Adam. But what the devil tried to do is that to make Jesus Christ bow down for him. And if you look at everybody now, anytime as human beings, we have a tendency, to be intoxicated with power. Somebody said, power intoxicates. And sometimes it's true. But when you understand the relationship with your environment, anytime you find yourself anywhere, you will not allow that environment to influence you because you are there to influence the environment. The Bible says God asks us to what? To subdue, to dominate, and to multiply and to fill the heart. You are there to what? To subdue that environment. You are there to subdue the power in that environment because you have the greater power inside of you. The greater is the one is me, that is he that is in the world. So what we're supposed to do anytime we find ourselves in a place of authority, anytime we find ourselves in a place of position, always know that no, all authority, all power belongs unto God. We are just a vessel in his hand. And so when you understand that scenario, every time you find yourself, whether in your place of work or whether you, like for example, I'm a father, and I'm a father and I'm also a husband. So as a husband, I will not violate my rules because I understand that I am just here because I am a caretaker. The real husband, the real father is God. So, and for me to function effectively, for me to function very well where I find myself, I need to submit myself to God and do it according to the rule of God. And that is where we can function properly in the environment. I always want to encourage everybody that, anywhere you find yourself, you must be able to date your environment. It's very, very important. The reason why there is violation is because people doesn't take the environment on a date. As a father, you need to take that position, that father position, you need to take it on a date. Ask yourself all these questions. Why am I here? What am I doing here? How do I need to function in my position? Then when? Then where? Because a lot of time, the reason why people violate all this stuff we're talking about because they don't understand when, they don't understand where. And so when you talk about the authority, when devil asked Jesus to bow down for him, the reason why Jesus the reason why Jesus Christ passed that question because Jesus Christ understood who is in charge and who is in control. And if you look at what happened today, a lot of people doesn't pass that test. Pastors, because they are pastors, they violate that law because they're in power, because power intoxicates. Not all the pastors, but some violate. Fathers violate. Husband violate. People in position, mayor, governor, local government chairman, politician, permanent secretary. A lot of people violate that law, and they need to understand that where I am, I have two major purposes there. Number one, to cultivate that place and to till that place. And knowing that where I am, the authority does not belong to me. The authority belongs to God. And in that way, it will make things easier for people. And the reason why there is a lot of crime, people can go and kill somebody. The reason why people can go to somebody there and steal is because they don't understand the law. They don't understand. They don't have a relationship with the environment. Because anywhere you find yourself, just to make that place a better place, leave that place a better place. Because Jesus Christ knew that he had a purpose. His purpose is to come and die for us. But devil came to hinder him from fulfilling that purpose. But because he understood his assignment, he understood his why, his what, his how, his when, and his where, he was able to pass that test. And let me tell you in life, as Christians, anybody in life, you're going to pass through that three tests: hunger, power, and law.
Come again, sir.
You have in life, you need to pass that three tests. Number one, hunger, power, and law.
Wow. Hunger, power, and love. Awesome. Awesome. You see, I just know that we can't finish this environment this evening because you're talking about a test for power, test for lordship, test for hunger. Now, if I may ask you a question, someone that is hungry, how would such not fail these tests? someone that is hungry, someone that is oppressed, how will such not face this test?
So the issue is that when you talk about someone that is oppressed, oppression is not what you are going through. Oppression is the thing of the mind. You get what I'm saying? I can give you a different scenario in the Bible. Look at Joseph. Joseph was under oppression. Potiphar wanted to sleep with him, but because he understood his relationship, first of all, with God, second, with himself, third, with others, then fourth, with his environment, he was able to overcome it. So whether you are under oppression or not, that is not the issue. Let me give you another scenario. Daniel, when he found himself in a strange land, they were taken, as a slave. And when they gave them an offer that, eat this food, take this food, Daniel said, no, don't worry, we're okay. We're not going to defile ourselves with the king's meal. So it's not about the oppression. It's about the knowledge of who you are that really matter. It's not what you are going through that really matter. It's who you are. Who we are really, really show what is inside of us. What really brings out your real you is when you find yourself in the environment that pressurizes you, and that will bring out your real you. So you are not a thief because you steal. You are a thief because you are a thief. It's not the stealing that makes you a thief. It's because you have that nature to steal inside of you. And when what do you call it, the environment, or when the occasion presents himself, you're able to act that who you are. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So the issue is that as a man thinketh in his heart, so they are. So it's not stealing that makes you a thief. It's because you're a thief. That is why you steal. So it's not the oppression that makes you to violate the law of anger. It's because, you are already, it's because you already have that mindset to do it. And look at another scenario. Look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They find themselves in a place where they were really, really oppressed. And they told them that, and they said, let it know to you, king, we are not going to bow down to this God. Even though the God we are serving is not able to save us, we're not going to bow down, because they understood, the relationship with the environment, with God, with themselves, and with others. So it's not, the pressure doesn't mean anything. For them, pressure is a stepping stone onto that ground. For them. They said, even though the God we are serving is not going to save us, we're still not going to bow down for him. Look at another case. Look at Daniel. Daniel was asked not to pray. When they told him not to pray, he opened his window and he prayed what? 3 times, because he understood who he was. So all those things that they are doing doesn't matter. So a true Christian, a true person when they go under pressure and they are still standing. The only thing that pressure does is just to show, to reveal your you to you. That's the purpose of pressure. That's the purpose of pressure. Christ was under pressure, but you can say, okay, Christ is God. But the Bible says he became flesh and dwelt among us. We see different scenarios in the Bible that they were tempted to do what they're not supposed to do, but they did not. They did not. In the Old Testament, in the New Testament, they did not. In the Bible, that opportunity present themselves to them, and they did it. Look at Abraham. Abraham found himself with Abimelech and said, I thought this king is going to kill me. So when you get to Abimelech, just tell him you are my sister. And Abraham told the king that she is my sister. But thank God for God's intervention. You get what I'm saying? But Abraham learned his lesson when God gave him Isaac. And God told him to what? To sacrifice Isaac. So the issue is that it's not the pressure that determines who you are. You are who you are. The pressure is just like When the Bible talks about when you pass through gold, you become shiny. The prayer is just like when you are passing through fire. So the fire really brings out who you are. So let me tell you, all the things that we know is it's easier said than done until you find yourself in that position, in that situation, and you are standing. So that is why, when I think about people, when I look at people, I always have these things in the back of my mind: justice, love, and mercy. And look at that. Now, to wrap it up, look at what happened when a woman was found in the act of fornication. They brought the woman to Jesus Christ. You're going to ask yourself, where is the man? They only brought the woman to Jesus Christ. And look at what Jesus Christ did. He was just writing it down. If you guys, you didn't commit anything, or just I was just writing, the sin they committed. I know what you did last summer. I know what you did yesterday. And everybody dropped the stone and they left. And Jesus said, where are all your accusers? They've all gone. Go and sin no more. So pressure is not pressure. What makes pressure is you. You can see pressure as a stepping stone, or you can see pressure as a what? As a problem, as an excuse. So it depends on the way, it depends on your perspective.
Wow. 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 Pressure is not pressure. What makes pressure is you. Sir, you own that. You own that code. You own that code. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. I just keep looking at you. Why? Because you're really teaching the beauty of environment in this Delight series. And that's why I'm so happy that we named this session the Light series. Indeed, the Light series is definitely happening here. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that millions all over the world are going to listen to this, because by the time we start promoting this, it's going to generate a lot of ripple effect. You just let us know that pressure is not pressure. What makes pressure is you. Thank you so much. Our time is fast spent. We have 53 minutes done. We only have 5 minutes more. You talked about violation of the environment, violation of the submission, violation of the law of gravity. You've actually throw a little light on the aspect of your personality itself. Each individual's personality, the way forward from all these things. I mean, the way forward itself, the road ahead. I don't want to go into the next question, the when, the why, the how, to the environment. I want us to leave that one for next week.
For next week.
But because
I think
this was there. Okay.
So the way forward is just, first of all, when you find yourself in any environment, I want to challenge everybody to take their environment on a date. Take your environment on a date. Study your environment. Study your environment. Study the reason why you are in that environment. Why am I in that environment? You must always ask yourself the question of why. When the purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. First thing is that you must find yourself to ask yourself, why am I in this environment? Why am I a father? Why am I, the husband? Why am I a pastor? Why am I an engineer? Why am I working in this environment? Where am I living in this community? Where am I living in Lagos? Where am I living in Ibadan? Where am I living in South Side or North Side? Or where am I in Chicago? Where am I in Atlanta? Where am I in DC? You need to ask yourself why. Once you set this question of why, then you can now go to the question of what. Now that I know why, what do I need to do with what? With this why? What do I need to do? And I just want to encourage somebody as I'm going to wrap up. I don't want to go, because if I started explaining, it's going to take longer time. I just want to encourage somebody. in case you find yourself you violated the relationship with your environment, let me tell you, God, our God, is a God of second chance. He gave Adam and Eve second chance. He has given me several chances, not more than one, not more than two. If you find that you've already violated that law, all you need to do is that the Bible says, we should come unto Him the way we are. All you need to do is just say, Lord, I'm sorry. I've already violated the law or the relationship with my environment. I've already violated it. Lord, have mercy upon me and seek for help. Go to people that can help you. There are a lot of things that can. And first of all, look, why am I violating this thing? What makes me violate love my environment? Why do I violate my marriage? Why do I have violated, why do I violated my marriage? Or why am I violating my marriage? Why am I violating my position? Why am I violating my position in my place of work? Why am I violating what I'm doing? All you need to know is to just say, God, I come to you. I need your help. And God is going to help you. God is going, Bible is our present help in time of need. I remember when I violated several laws, but I come to my sense, like the prodigal son said, my father's house, he has a lot. Why should I just be eating with the pig, eating pig's food? He realized that, and he went back to his father. And look, if you look at what the father did, we can see the father show love and mercy. The Bible says when the father saw the son coming, the Bible ran towards him and gave him a coat and even gave him a ring and even threw a party on his behalf. And I want to challenge you, if you violated the law of the relationship with your environment, all you need to do is just say, God, I'm sorry. I messed up. Have mercy upon me. And he'll surely have mercy upon you. Because that is God we are serving. The reason why he came to this world, the Bible says he came to the hood and lived in the neighborhood. The Bible says he became flesh and lived among us. So if Christ can come all the way from heaven and come and live with us and understand who we are and have a relationship with us, the same thing, with the help of God, we too can have a relationship with our environment.
Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Awesome session tonight. It's as if we should.
Thank you very much, sir.
This reference God position of ourselves as God over others. Thank you, Titi Temi. Thank you so much. That's one of our people at Waohlife. Thank you so much for joining us this wonderful evening. Pastor Olu, thank you so much. We have 60 seconds left. We've learned a lot, and we've not even scratched the surface of environment. I think this environment is going to extend to like 2 or 3 episodes, the way I'm saying it. Because by the time I sit with this and I carve out some questions out of it, it's going to be awesome. Thank you once again for giving us this beautiful, for helping us. I'm so happy for listening to you. Every time I listen to you, something substantial, I picked it that we used to run. And thank you so much.
So I just want to say, I want to thank you, Waohlife Ministry, rather in the name of Jesus Christ. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, for being part of this interview. And I want to appreciate everybody. Thank you, Brother Tolu. Thank you, everybody that have joined us.